Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey with an update from the WCIA3 Weather Center with this winter mess for some of us here in central Illinois. We've got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty in the field. We'll go to him in just a second, and he's in the StormTracker. He's been out seeing some of those areas that have snow right now. Let's take care of some housekeeping first, and then we'll get started with things here. I want to mention first off this rain-snow mix settling in as expected, pretty darn close to the Interstate 74 corridor, perhaps a little further south into Vermilion County and parts of Champaign County. So we will watch it closely here over the next few hours. We're expecting it to slowly start pivoting a little bit to the south as far as things goes. Some housekeeping notes tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock. You'll hear from myself in the studio and Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. He will be out in the StormTracker with an update. We're going to hear from him again in a second. I do want to know we really value and appreciate your reports at this time, as that rain-snow line on radar isn't always what's being seen at the ground. So your reports are more invaluable than ever. In addition, if you get any photos, you can send those to us by email, Facebook, Twitter, and directly through the WCIA3 weather app as far as things go. So that's what we're looking at here as far as the housekeeping goes. Let's take a look at our winter weather alerts. We still have the winter storm warning for Iroquois, Benton, and Warren counties. Arguably, those areas will see the highest impacts, but still impacts for at least part of Livingston, Ford, Vermilion, Champaign, and McLean County in Illinois, and then Fountain, Vermilion, and Park County in Indiana with the winter weather advisory off to the south there. As we watch this radar loop here, we've been seeing some areas getting some decent reports of some snow down on the ground. We've had Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty driving out in it. And Kevin, we've got you up now. You are in the SK Exterior StormTracker in the field there. Tell us a little bit more about what you've been seeing, Kevin, and what's going on where you're at right now.
Well, so I started my day down in Mahomet, went through Gibson City, got a nice sandwich from your mother, thank you. Then made our way up north. We went all the way up to Watseka and made our way back down Highway 1, back down through Rossville, and now I'm in Danville, where Danville had that snow to begin with today, and it is now switched almost back over to rain. So it went from snow, and now it's back over to a little bit of rain over here. Now, it was definitely snow just north of here, up around Rossville, definitely up in the Hoopston area. But here in Danville, seems like either some very wet snowflakes or just raindrops that we've got here. And so what we'll do is we'll hop back on the road here and kind of show you. It is a slushy mess. I mean, it's just because we've seen the snow have so much moisture content to it, just so much in the way of, water. I mean, this stuff is just so slush. I mean, it's like going to the gas station, getting yourself one of those, nice slushies, little ices or whatever they call them, and it's literally like that content out here tonight. And so it's all over the roads. It's muddy, and a lot of the roads are covered. Now, we're actually in Danville, so obviously you get a lot of traffic here, a lot of tires going over the pavement and whatnot. So it's a lot better in town, and we again have switched back over to rain at this time. But I think before too long we're going to switch things back over to that snow once again. So what I'm actually going to do is hop back on I-74 and head back to Champaign, and then I'm going to hop back on I-57 and start going north from there again, and just kind of comparing what the conditions are like, because they should deteriorate as you get to about the Champaign and Iroquois County line, which is where we have heard, almost kind of where that rain-snow line has been. You get just kind of north of Ludlow and into Iroquois County, and that's where the snow is kind of flying. And that kind of lines up with where I was. I kind of got up there to about north of Ludlow in the Gilman area, and then it started snowing pretty good, and it was snow all the way through Watseka, all the way back down to Highway 1 until I got back down here towards the Danville area. So we are going to hop back on I-74 and head west here and see what it's like. I think anytime we may start to see this rain begin to kick back to a little bit of snow. But as of right now, in Danville, I can confirm that this is rain that we've got here. So just take it easy, you know, on these on and off ramps. You know, I was traveling down Highway 1 and I was having to go really slow. We were doing about 35 miles an hour because obviously some of those state routes there, you know, less plows out there. Now I did see several of them out there taking care of the roads. A big shout out to those snowplow drivers that are out there tonight doing their best to keep up with this. But where it is snowing just to our north of Champaign, Iroquois County, they are getting pounded. I mean, there's already 3 or 4 inches of snow up there probably, you know, as you get, you know, into Iroquois County there. So it was coming down in Hoopeston when I was there. I would not be surprised if they've got 3 inches by now. So it's just a wet, slushy mess, I'll tell you that for now. But if temperatures drop just a little bit more, all of this is going to switch back over to that snow. So I'll just kind of be standing by here, and I'll let you know as we continue to travel along I-74 what I see. And but feel free to pop me back up, or if you have any other questions, Jacob.
Oh, I have lots of questions, Kevin. We get to ask you and flip the script around since you're in the StormTracker. On a little more of a lighter note, I heard you passed through Gibson City earlier today. Can you tell me a little bit about what happened there? Yeah, I've got that picture up right now. Folks can look at it. So it seems like we're going to do a lot more of heading up to Gibson City to get some food from Mama Dickey every now and then. So I'm glad you got a chance to experience that. Back to the roads a little bit here. We're watching you drive down I-74 westbound out of Danville. You're crossing the Kickapoo exit there and heading in towards like Oakwood. Doing a little bit of cheating here with Google Traffic. That's a great way to see where these impacts are. Really from Danville east, it's showing slowed traffic. And then on 57, it's showing it from Paxton north. And you get down into some of these surface streets. It even looks like 150 all the way from Oakwood to 50 in a little slick, 49 north to Rankin. And then you cut up to Paxton where Purdueville is. It's starting to see some orange on that, right close to Roberts and Chatsworth. So very sharp a line from those impacts as far as it goes in the area here. So we'll be watching that closely. Earlier tonight when we were at the 6 o'clock news, Kevin, you really got into some of that heavier snow. Tell us a little bit more what that was like.
Yeah, boy, when we were up there, right at Hoopeston there, man, I mean, those snowflakes were $half flakes. And a lot of times, you know, you'll get that for like, you know, maybe, you know, a minute or two, and then they'll get back down to, you know, regular size. It was snowing $half size snowflakes for a good 15 minutes there, and that's what actually can really pile up the snows, because you get those larger flakes and cover more surface area, and those things were just flying. Some of the heaviest snow I've seen in quite some time, and I was kind of sad that I had to leave there. I could have just stayed there all night and saw that, but I figured, well, we'd get back on the road and kind of see what we're seeing here. So I'm now back in the rain. This is not as fun here. So that's why I'm going to just go ahead and make a big circle around and probably, you know, at 9 and 10 o'clock be back up in it there into Iroquois County. But I'm just, what I'm very curious is when I get back on 57 to go back north is where does it change? Where does it go from rain to snow? And that's the $1 million question there. Is it at Ludlow now? Is it, you know, is it to Rantouli? I don't think it is. You know, where is it at? Is it still all the way up to Gilman? Like you said, the radar tries to decipher what that is, but I know it's tough. So those reports that we get from people out there, obviously crucial. But yeah, those snowflakes were fun. I want to get back up there, and I'm going to try to make it up there as safe as I can.
Yeah, the snow really looked quite impressive. We had a number of pictures early on from that with the snow coming on in. It has been an unforgiving rain here at the TV studio, Kevin. We were worried about where that line was going to set up. It still looks like we may pivot that snow a little more to the south and west here. But we were joking a little bit earlier, Jen Lask and I, we were talking about how we may have Southwest Champaign complain that they got nothing, and just northeast of Urbana may end up getting a little bit more, and how unforgiving this line will be, this transition zone here is. So we'll be looking forward to hearing where you find the snow again as you're heading north on 57. A lot of folks have been sharing that snow reports in the chats too. So Kevin, what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit more about the forecast here and what we expect, and we'll check back with you here in a few moments. All right, thanks, Kevin.
Sounds good.
Let's jump into the forecast here just a little bit more and take some radar data and show you what we've got. And then, of course, we'll be looking at the chats and answering questions and whatnot. There's a lot of good feedback and a lot of good information you're sharing. We're all part of this together, figuring out where that snow is, because radar only tells us so much. The radar site we use here in central Illinois, located in Lincoln. So we only get a view of about a couple thousand feet up here in Champaign County of what's going on. It may be showing snow on radar, but as it falls below that area we can't see to the ground. We've found out that a lot of it is still stuck as rain as far as it goes as here in the area. A little bit more close look at some of these areas that this transition zone is setting up on in. And again, some of you will be able to comment and tell us, hey, no, it's actually rain here. We're seeing that in Danville. Radar says snow. We know it's rain. Kevin's out there now. The same in parts of northern Ford and northern Champaign, southwestern Ford County. Gibson City, it's been a rain for you. Paxton has reported some snow in areas off to the north. It seems like that cutoff is somewhere between Paxton, Chatsworth, up towards Odell, even though radar's saying snow trying to make it down here in northeastern McLean County, so that is something that we'll be watching. Quick shout out and give a little love to some folks down here. Look at all this heavy rain as far as it goes here in parts of central Illinois for Springfield and in Decatur. For y'all down here, it will be a cold rain night, and with winds as well, still continuing area-wide, 20 to 35 miles an hour, a raw, dank type of night as far as it goes here. We'll get the chance to get some light snow in these areas that are missing out tonight as we go into Sunday, but tonight it stays a rain, and a heavy rain too. If you think to our drought monitor, some of those driest conditions in our area are right where some of this heavy rain is settling on in. So that is at least good news, especially the farmers. They don't want to be going into planting season, having a drought in progress. They'd like to get a little moisture into the ground. This system will certainly help with that. But a lot of people being disappointed by the snow as expected. North of 74 still we think has that best chance here moving on through. Let's do a quick weather camera tour here. There's a look at Danville of what's going on right now. You can see the streets are snow and slush covered. They've gotten some of the heaviest snow here. As we go up to Gibson City, it's been rain for the longest time, and we'll see in that update here in a second as we pop the Gibson City camera up. We'll check out and see what's going on there. And it looks like, as we pop that in, it still is a light rain in Gibson City. Don't see any snow sticking down onto the ground. Even in Pontiac, right on the line there, is still a cold rain with some breezy winds. You can see those trees moving around. Some snow still expected for Pontiac here as we go later on. At the TV studio, we've been stuck with the cold rain all night long. Just a raw day for us here in central Illinois. It will stay a rain, though, in places like Springfield. Taking a look there. You can see the wind bouncing out the camera there as it looks towards the Capitol building. And even the same for Decatur. Don't expect any snow tonight in Decatur. We'll get the chance there as we go into tomorrow. Here's a look at current temperatures across the area. It's 34 in Champaign. That tells us a little bit why here. We're about a degree higher than we thought we would be at this time, and that is making all of the difference. Quick check at the radar has shown us that the snow falling aloft, it still is falling, but it's melting between 1,000 and 2,000 feet in the air overhead with that surface temperature at 34, surface temperature of 33 in Danville and in Pontiac. Watseka getting some snow right now, 32 there, and you'll see mid to upper 30s to the south and west. Lincoln, Decatur, Mattoon, no snow for you because of the surface temperature still ever so slightly warmer here. We think we'll drop a few more degrees by midnight tonight. I think about midnight. We should be about 32 in Champaign and a little bit lower than that to the north, but we're not dropping it a whole lot more here as we go on through. So that is something we'll be watching very closely. As far as the impacts go, the most impactful time for this storm is right now. We're in that prime time where the snow will fall the heaviest, where it is falling, and that seems to be along and north of a line. We've said I-74. From looking at ground confirmation in your reports, it seems like it's from about Odell down towards Chatsworth, towards Paxton, towards Oakwood or Ogden, in that area into the north. But that snow band's still expected to pivot ever so slightly here as we check it out on Future Track. We're watching it very closely. It's doing a pretty good job showing right now with Future Track what's going on here. That rain in Champaign and Gibson City and Bloomington with snow just off to the east. As we go into 8, 9 o'clock, notice how we may cool the temperature off a degree or two. That may help us get that wintry mix of rain and snow into the area. And by 10, 11 o'clock, still on the table, we don't think we're done yet. We're still early on here, Champaign. that snow may very well work its way in darn close to town, if not to over half the town, essentially, as that transition comes on back. And then, of course, into early Sunday morning, 1 a.m., 2, 3, 4 a.m., we start to see that rain fill back on in, making a slushy mess. If you notice, where we've had the best rain, the best snow sticking around so far, it seems like northern Livingston, Ford, and Iroquois counties has had that highest concentration of snow, at least the longest duration. That's where we expect the highest snow totals out of this event. That sharp gradient falling between Interstate 74 and parts of Ford, Iroquois, and Livingston County. Here we go into Sunday by 7 a.m. You can join me again. I'll be back in the morning show with Jamie Mays. Watch what happens. Still some light showers here, but the area of low pressure is passing off to the east now. Winds turn out of the north, and colder air advects in on the backside. What that means then? Sunday mid-morning into the afternoon, we start to see some light snow into the area. This will not be a heavy, wet snow, a lighter, standard type of snow event. So we may squeeze out an inch in some spots that have missed out here before all is said and done. Don't lose hope yet. But notice then as we go into Sunday evening and Sunday night, that snow clears out of the area. As far as it goes for impacts into tonight and early tomorrow, there's highest impacts where the snow expected to fall the heaviest. North of Interstate 74. Still, though, some slush-covered roads in the next few hours along the north of Interstate 74. If it's raining hard now, you're probably going to see a little lesser than the snow totals. If you've got snow, you'll see a little bit higher here. But even with that mixture, you get that slushy mix. Not a very good, fun event for many. Here's a look at what we expect. Our snow totals in some of our areas may be just slightly higher than forecast. Some will be a little lower, too. But the rain will compact it down. The snow band is snowing at 1 to 1.5 inch an hour snowfall rates. It's a heavy, wet snow, though. We add rain on top of that, it condenses it, pushes it down, and then heavy, wet snow, too, generally compacts down into the ground. And so you may have 3 inches. In an hour, it'll be down to 2 inches. And we also still are seeing some melting because those surface temperatures are at or ever so slightly above freezing here. Those are the things we're battling with the snowfall here across central Illinois. Still going with this forecast, we have moved it ever so slightly to the north. There'll be a narrow 1 to 2 inch band somewhere along Interstate 74 to the south of Danville, a narrow 2 to 4 inch band then in northern Champaign, southwestern Ford counties. Still thinking Iroquois, northern Ford, northern Livingston County has the best chance to see 4 upwards of 8 inches, particularly the further north you are for the 8-inch mark, if not even a little higher than that for places like Dwight, Kempton, Kayberry, Ashcombe, Martinton, and even maybe as far south as Watseka, where we're still seeing snow fall here. It'll add up pretty quickly. You start to diminish those totals pretty quickly to the south then as you mix in the rain and the slush in there as far as it goes. Folks that are watching Lincoln, Decatur, Mattoon, Taylorville, Springfield, Effingham, Jacksonville, surrounding areas, even to the south of Paris, we still think there's a good chance by tomorrow you may get your chance at some snow here. Not tonight. No snow for you tonight, but tomorrow then with that band of snow wrapping into the backside could give us an inch or less across areas in white there. And that may save some of us in Champaign, Bloomington, Gibson City, Danville. If we end up keeping it a cold rain all night, as far as it goes, we'll be watching that very closely. Here's the latest as far as what the trends have shown. Still a 1 to 2 inch band across the middle part of Champaign County, 2 to 4 inches on the northern edge, less than an inch to the south. This is that tight gradient we're talking about. The same goes for McLean County. Northeast McLean County towards Lexington will have more snow than to the south and west towards, say, the McLean exit or Hayworth. Vermilion County, the same for you. South of Danville, we'll see less down towards Georgetown Ridge Farm than Hoopston will. We've had 3 inches already in Hoopston, and so we'll be watching that very close. Again, we've got hope for that back into the snow band, so if you miss this heavy snow now, this back snow band will sneak on in and give us the chance for at least some decent accumulation there. All right, we are looking at the StormTracker now. Kevin, if you're still there, we want to check in with you more. We can answer some questions. There you are, Kevin.
Can you hear me?
And talk more about what's going on. Where are you at now, Kevin, and what can you tell us?
All right, so I'm still on I-74, just coming up on the Fithian exit. I'm traveling back west on I-74, and I've got rain with, it's hard to tell, but I just feel like it's trying so hard to mix a wet snowflake in there, but it's still predominantly rain, it seems like. But what's interesting is I can usually tell just by listening to the windshield wiper, or the windshield. as the precipitation hits the windshield. Obviously, when it's loud, it's going to be rain. But then as it kind of gets quieter, then you think, oh, those are maybe the lighter snowflakes trying to hit. And I'm getting into a little bit of that here where I'm not hearing kind of that rain beating down, that lighter sound, which may be some of those snowflakes trying to mix in here, and which would be good news for those who are wanting to see that switch over. We're not quite there yet. Again, you can see we're just passing, getting ready to pass Highway 49, the exit to 50th. And I thought about taking this road here to get back north, because this actually could take me up through 50th or up through Rankin, and eventually up to Cessna Park, and eventually up to Crescent City in the Gilman area. But I'm gonna keep going and hit 57 there and go back north there, just to see what traffic is like, because it does show that traffic from about Buckley, between Buckley and northward there, seems to show the orange on the traffic map there on the Google traffic. So probably, seeing the biggest issues there. So I think that's possibly where that transition is set up there, is maybe just north of Paxton Loda, and that's where that snow kicks in. So I'm traveling here. It's just wet right now. I look at my thermometer, which again is not always accurate on the vehicle. We need to get a vehicle weather station in here, but the actual vehicle thermometer that we know again is not completely accurate. It's showing that the outside temperature is 32 degrees. It's usually off by a degree or two, so I would say it's probably about 33 over here, but it's getting close. It's getting really close, but we need 1,000 feet up. We need that temperature to get below that freezing mark. We need that colder column of air so that those snowflakes don't melt. A few thousand feet up, and we're getting there for some, but it's still going to take a little bit of time. I'm still just in a wet mess here as we travel westbound I-74, so I should be coming into Champaign here the next 20 minutes or so, and shooting back north, and we'll see what we catch there on I-57. I need to stop. Mama Dickey's sandwich has worn off. I need to find me a Casey's gas station, and I need to find me a piece of pizza, because that sounds really good right now. So I'm going to effort that, and we'll see when we get back, switching over to the rain to the snow, which is hopefully getting soon. But I know a lot of people, as we said, would be disappointed with this, but there's still a lot of time. If we get, here's the thing I can tell you. If this switches back over, because of the intensity of what this precipitation is, and I saw this firsthand up in, when I was up there in Iroquois County, when this switched over from rain to snow, it didn't take long for accumulation to start happening because of just how much moisture there is. And when that switchover occurs, if you can get 2 or 3 hours of that, I mean, you can easily, get an inch or two of snow during that time frame. So those of you that are waiting patiently, wanting some of the snow, while many of you south of I-74, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's just not going to happen, at least with tonight's stuff. Some of you maybe in northern Champaign County that are waiting rain tool, I don't think we're not out of the woods yet for you to, eventually get some snow. So that's what we've got here from the StormTracker right now. We're going to keep on trucking. We'll find some food, and we'll have more reports coming up here. We'll see where I'm at by 9 o'clock. Maybe I'm going to be about an hour from now. I might be near Paxton or something like that. So we'll,
all right, sounds
we'll
good, Kevin. We appreciate your reports in the field and the SK Exterior StormTracker. I will mention again the highest impacts and the slickest roads, if you're watching us here on Facebook, have been Iroquois and Vermilion County. The interstates generally are some of the last to go, but taking a look at traffic, quite a bit of problems, especially past Buckley. It looks like there's slowed or stopped traffic coming in towards Onarga and Gilman, and especially up towards Kankakee. You take that curve around the south side of town, the curve there right before you get to where the Highway 52 exited. It looks really slow down there. There's a Love's truck stop that has a Dunkin' Donuts in the south side of Kankakee right before you make that S-curve over the river. Some issues up there, but we still think Kevin, there, if you can hear me still, there's still a lot of folks who are tired of the rain. We're early on in this. We've got another batch of another 4 or 5 hours here where that snow band may pivot, the temperature may drop a degree and be enough for us. But I still think we're on target to have some folks disappointed, say we are the worst forecasters ever. So we'll be ready to deal with that. But certainly...
Are they already coming at us? Are they already coming at us?
Yeah, they are. So we'll be dealing with that, I'm sure. But certainly we've got a few more hours. There is the chance for snow here across the area. And, of course, Kevin will be absolutely certain to find the heaviest. We'll be looking forward to your reports coming up at 9 and 10 tonight.
Hey, listen. Here's the thing. Let me just remind everybody. Rain or snow or whatever, it's just a weather forecast. Chill out. It'll be okay if you don't get the snow. We said all along that there's going to be some areas that you just get the rain. That's just what it is. A matter of 10 or 15 miles makes all the difference. Yes. Hey, listen. I get the disappointment of the rain, but there's still time here, and you still may get some. And guess what? Eventually, the sun will come up again, and it will come up tomorrow. It'll just be shrouded by clouds. But I guarantee you, your day will be okay, even if you don't get snow. I guarantee you there are worse things
That's
you
right.
have
All
to
right,
worry
thanks,
about.
Kevin, for being out in the field. We'll check in with you live at 9 and 10. I'm going to switch over to the graphics and answer any questions you may have and check out some of those viewer reports here in Central Illinois. We've gotten a number of them. And again, we thank you for your individual reports here in Central Illinois as far as what is going on. We're looking at Decatur right now. Decatur, there will be no snow for you. But you can see that rain still blowing there as far as it goes. A lot of folks having those issues here in Central Illinois with what's going on. So I'm going to switch back to radar and pop that up, and then I'll scroll through and check for questions. We'll take a look at viewer reports, and then we'll be getting ready for our show coming up at 9 and 10 o'clock. 9 on WCIX and 10 o'clock on WCIA. And so that's what we'll be watching here as the snow band continues to really pivot over areas that we expected here in Central Illinois. All right, we are taking a look at some of those questions right now and answering them. And if you've got a report too, you're slipping in late, let us know what you're seeing. We always appreciate hearing from you and seeing what you've got. So I am scrolling back to the beginning here. Hope has been in Decatur. Lots and lots of rain. That's about all you'll get in Decatur. We've got a little sleet report earlier in Seidel, and that's very much the case here. You can see in this radar that green and blue bouncing back and forth, and that's very much the expectations as what we were dealing with here. It's pretty darn close to the I-74 corridor within a few miles as far as it goes. Leslie reports rain in Fisher. We still are optimistic. We get you some snow here before all is said and done. About 4 more hours of opportunity. We're only 2 hours into our prime time here. Mattoon, rain. It'll stay rain down in Mattoon. Margie reporting that. We've got Jarvis and Urbana saying it's been rain. It has been an unforgiving rain here at the TV station too. Here's a good comment. Seth is saying that seeing rain like this would have been a blizzard 20 years ago. Yeah, we had enough of cold air in with the way this moisture is falling and the wind is blowing. Absolutely, a blizzard would have been on the table. We're just a degree or two too warm. But Kevin has seen some of those whiteout conditions out in the field, and so that's what we'll continue to monitor here. We've got Muhammad, all rain and wind. Todd checking in there. Trying to see, here we go, April in Hoopston saying they've gotten 3 to 4 inches so far. That's where Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty was live at 6 o'clock. He'll be up in Iroquois County for the 9 and 10. Here we go. Here's the report. Gene, Watseka, snow, 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 and snow. And that's what we expected in Watseka. And up in far northern Ford County, far northeastern Livingston County, that snow will come further to the south and west towards Pontiac. We're still optimistic about that here. Hoopston is snowy. Findlay has been rain all day. Green up down in Cumberland County, rain. That's what we've got here. Rainy and windy in Oakwood. They had a little snow mix in earlier in that area of Vermilion County. The salt trucks are out, though. Gilman, the snow really starting to add up. I'd be very interested, Samantha, if you've got a report or a number, if you're able to get that, or send a picture. We would really enjoy seeing what's going on there. Here's Paxton. Roads are slushy between Buckley and Loda. Slushy coming out of Loda. A rain mix, though, in Paxton still. Amanda says, watching from Fisher, we have just rain. For the 2 to 5 inches of snow we're getting, it's not looking good. It's still early on. We've got about 4 more hours, so we cool the temperature down ever so slightly, and that may help that. But we may be a little more like 2 to 3 in that range instead of 4 to 5 as far as expectations go. We're still optimistic, and we all expect to get an inch tomorrow, which will help make up for maybe some of the missing snow today. I think there's a number of folks who are just like Shannon here. Rainstorms, boo, I love snow. I would love to see a big snow. It's not been our year in Champaign-Urbana. Monticello, man, you got that snow at the beginning of the year, but very isolated band. Debbie reporting rain in Gibson City. As far as it goes, we've got rain in Thomasboro. Danville is now a rain. We know it was snow earlier. Vetersburg, just across the state line, reporting heavy snow. Visibility is horrible. This is in Potomac. Margaret checking in saying it's iced and snowed over. That's in expectations as far as it goes. Is Kevin heading to Mama Dickey's house for snacks this time? I think he's going to stay on the interstate. So, Mom, if you're watching, you don't have to worry. But it seems like every time we get a winter weather or a severe weather event, we'll all be stopping by. It'll be like Aunt Meg in Twister. Hopefully Gibson doesn't get hit, though, like Aunt Meg's house did. I would hate that. But, yeah, Kevin had a little bit of fun with that. Route 1, not highway. Just rain in Champaign so far. Eric, when will it drop temperature? We think maybe in the next hour or two we may drop a degree, and that may be all we need. It's a very shallow, mild air layer here at the surface, maybe 500 feet to 1,000 feet. And that's all it takes to make things happen. Not doing much in Hoopston now. They've got 2 or 3 inches in the ground. We are looking in Rantoul, sitting right at the dividing line. Still watching that. It seems like it's Paxton to Buckley Load, and that's not far north from you, Rantoul, even Champaign here. So we'll be watching that pretty close. Woodworth, that's in Iroquois County, has it pretty good. 12 miles off from Milford, off of Route 1. That's what we expect. Switch back to rain here in Wellington, in Iroquois County. Those half-dollar size flakes for a while. That's a good point here. When you start getting snow, those snowfall rates will be very heavy and can add up quickly. You can get an inch, maybe even higher than that in an hour. So if it's still raining, we're still optimistic for some of you through midnight 1 a.m. But we'll have to watch here and see what ends up happening. Is Gibson going to get any? I'm optimistic we'll get you some in Gibson City. Don't worry, Dee Dee. I think you'll get something as far as it goes. The question here is winter advisories in central Illinois are now when it rains. We're on forecast here because we're seeing a mix of rain and snow, and we expected that to bounce back and forth. We think in the next hour or two it may lift to the south a little bit. We have to watch it, but those advisories are in place for the right reasons. According to the National Weather Service, we agree with them. They do a great job with issuing our winter weather alerts. Folks in southern Champaign County are probably like, what the heck? It's just rain, and we're probably going to see all rain. One of the issues with these winter weather advisories is we have to issue them for whole counties. It's not developed to where we can do polygons like we can for severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. We issue those for segments or sections of counties. The winter weather alerts are just simply a whole county, and that's how it goes. We have talked about the forecast on the northern and eastern parts of those counties having higher impacts than the south and western part. That's been our message as far as it goes. Let's see. Carrie's saying it took her husband about an hour from Kankakee to Clifton. 1-lane conditions on I-57. Yep, that's believable, and that may be moving to the south here before all is said and done. Snowplows are running on Route 9, 2 miles west of Paxton. That'd be right about close to 10 Mile Grove, the Deadman's Curve. That's there by Purdueville. There's probably a little slush mixed in there in some spots, but not nearly as enough to the north. John saying it went north. That's good. It still is expected to come back to the south. So just because you're at rain now doesn't mean we're out of the woods, but that's at least a favorable idea that maybe we'll end up on the lower end of those forecasted amounts for specific areas, except for Iroquois County. Well on your way in Paxton, Clifton, Ashcombe, even towards like Kayberry, Kempton, and towards Dwight to get that 4 to 8 inch range, if not a little bit higher as far as it goes. Just a dusting of snow in Armstrong. checking on in. 136, US 136 between Danville and Hoopeston, covered in heavy slush. Carrie mentioning that curve around Kankakee I mentioned, exit 308, is accident prone. That's absolutely. Raphael, yes, you're right. Right. Windy in Hoopeston. There's a little bit snow report from there. Watseka has 2.5 inches of wet, heavy snow and windy. Let's see, what else? Switching in Loda between rain and snow. Yeah, we're battling the atmosphere right now. It's in a fight for its life to get that snow in, but we still got about 4 more hours with these chance for this rain here. 4 inches has been measured in Bismarck by Carrie. Thank you so much for that report, Carrie. Carlos checking in from Champaign. If some of you have missed out on this, those forecast updates will be updating the Weather Now article. As far as Champaign, we still think we've got a chance to get some snow tonight. If not, tomorrow will bring a large majority of us in central Illinois about 1 inch of snow. Maybe a little more in some spots, a little less, but that's a good ballpark number. We got 4 inches in Milford, checking on in there. Bismarck, heavy wind and whiteout conditions in the country. We've got Carrie, attempt to get some sort of picture in rural Clifton. Carrie, if you can do a video too, if you've got enough light outside or a porch light, that would be another great way that you can share with us, even though pictures as far as goes. We got 4-inch report coming in Milford again. And Sheldon reporting 3 inches in Iroquois County. All right, folks, one last check of the radar here, and then we're going to wrap things up. You can join us for the updates in about 45 minutes on WCIA3 News, at 9 o'clock on WCIX, and then at 10 o'clock on CBS for the latest updates here. We're watching that band and where it's setting up. And the latest right now, it seems like right about in got to switch that. I keep switching it back and forth. Hang on. There we go. Right about in, and where's my draw tool? Seems like to us, from these reports we've been getting, somewhere right about in here, this is the snow. I can't draw that. You get the idea. The snow over here. There's snow. And rain down there. That's got the dividing line from what we're seeing on Google Traffic and whatnot. It's close. It'll continue to wobble back and forth. You'll continue to see that here, but there's a chance in the next couple of hours we may cool off a degree or two, and that may pull that snow band south back closer to I-74. So we'll watch it closely. If you don't get snow today, tomorrow a band on the backside looks to bring a good majority of us, about 1 inch or so here in central Illinois. That's what I got for y'all. We're going to sign off, and I'll go through. I've got to get some reports checked for some more photos online. We're putting a display up on our website with some of the photos we've already gotten, and then we'll have more live reports from Kevin in the field, myself here in the studio, and then Amelia's been covering digital content online, and so is Jack as far as it goes. So we got team coverage for you of this winter weather, of who's getting the snow and who's not. We'll see you coming up tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock. Take care.